Oh, that's right. Maybe I should stop this recording. I was supposed to start getting the recordings uploaded to YouTube and do that, but I'll uh I'll claim what I claimed last recording, which is I'm gonna work this one until I stop it. And then remind me, then I'll start uploading videos to YouTube. So you darling future people can watch this. So we were at the yeah, okay, we're talking about smart agents and the API first webhook dilemma. I'll call it that until we figure it out. So why don't I just come out and say it? Um, yeah, an API for that's not saying much of anything, really. I'm already thinking of the smart agents as being used as a function call. So all we're saying is because that would be what would get passed to the API. API is just exposing something that says, well, if you send on this, you'll hit our API, and that says something about how we're going to handle it. It means, oh, jeez. So do they have an API on the butt end too? I'll just quickly say to support webhooks, it means that we will also do callback functions as well as polling. Either way, they want to do what they do. What they do when they do it. Department of Redundancy Department gave me at least 50 points for that one. Um, yeah, so you make an API call, and typically in polling type systems, the API returns some like data package or a data dump. Okay, you wanted this, and um, it's really not any different than running a script file through a programming engine like Python or JavaScript or whatever. Yeah, making an interpretive scripting engine is not not at all hard. You got to have a parser, and you what your parsing leads to is pretty much what you want. So with the callback function, so are we opening some kind of channel? I mean, a port or something that when the callback function says, "Okay, I'm done with," well, okay, I keep one of the typical use cases would be to generate a report. In fact, it might even be we might be able to send through a code that says, "I want to look at the internals of you. Where are you at? What's your data? What's your programming? You know, where are you at?" And just basically a status report would be really valuable for systems administrators. Um, yeah, that's a pretty easy use case to foresee. But we're talking about how is it done? No, okay, I mean, we're going from design and getting into the murky details of implementation. Sort of. Yeah, okay, anyhow, doesn't matter. So do you have a channel open, a tube open, some pathway open? And so that PDF just, here you go. And let's see, we don't, we want our overall program to be asynchronous. That is, if it's going to call a webhook, then it shouldn't wait for a response. It should just go about its business. And the callback function will let it know when you need to interrupt, maybe an interrupt there. So what I was getting at too, API first. So really, if actually you don't try to maintain a connection, and this got a lot of attention going from Web 1.0 to Web 2.0, because yeah, Web 1.0 is considered mostly static, and Web 2.0 is considered having introduced interaction on web sites, on web pages. So, so again, both ends. I'm starting to see these things like in an oblong, almost like a sea cucumber or something, and with orifices, right? Because that's the I/O. And the thing is both sides are going to need I/O. We've been thinking about the thread or the path. It's going through all the smart agents, but really, both portals need to be have APIs and be able to be called. And oh yeah, both web hooks can be, both sides are supported. See, secret agents get us back to the fundamentals of systems design, because when you start off with system design, you really want to think in terms of input, black box. That means you don't need to know what's in there, and output or deliverables. But put data in here, the black box, however it does it, crunches it, and outputs some data or a report. And so every smart agent is like that. It's a mini system. But how we're molding the paradigm, like molding clay, um, it's got to be two-way communication on both ends. Oh God, yes, goddess, sorry. Um, I've been thinking in terms of port, right? But we keep coming back whenever we try to make like a one-on-one sort of relationship. We keep coming back to really we better think in terms of many to many, because intuitively I feel we might want that, and that might be necessary when we put the pedal to the metal, so to speak. And so how is that done now? Well, because we're talking about we might have a port here, mainly considered for input. We might have three. Um, well, what that's talking about is dispatching, basically, or directing. So, is there enough in a smart agent to say, uh, you go to that one, you go to that one, you go to that one? or is it a fault tolerant redundancy thing? See, we're back to the thing. Either we could have every smart agent ability to do that, or what we're left with will need smart agents that are like directors. We've already talked about we want a directory, which I keep thinking of Active Directory, probably because I put so much work to eat, live, and breathe it at one point that um, uh, I have had high expertise in Microsoft Active Directory. Anyhow, enough said about that. So, yeah. So we got directory services. In fact, very, very likely a director would use the directory services. Um, well, but if there's only two, it's always thinking about like those paper chains you can make and stuff. And anyhow, um, no, we're gonna have to have one to many, unless that's a specific type of smart agent. And not all smart agents have to have that ability, just like directors or whatever would. Because if you just have in out, even if it goes vice versa, um, where are you going to have the dispatcher agent that can direct to something different than what's in the chain? And once you start doing that, I intuitively feel like you start getting into networking paradigms again. So really, this Web3 technology has networks all through it, but none of it is the conventional stuff we would think of, like a LAN or an extranet or a WAN, or, well, yeah, after that, you got the internet. And believe me, the internet can be a dangerous place if you don't know what you're doing. So we could do that. We can have um, a smart agent that has multiple ports so that it can be in communication with multiple smart agents. But that breaks kind of a rule I've been trying to adhere to. Um, that I really like my smart agents to for there to be like a core. Um, any smart agent could be any other smart agent. Yeah, that might be a good way to put it. 14 minutes. I'm going to take a break. And remind me when I come back. I want to talk about more smart agent stuff and these multi ports.